What's crack, guys? In this video we are talking about acceleration, and I'm really excited about this one because with some of the athletes that I've worked with, these cues and these few little bits, few little tips have really kind of helped people to get a lot more out of their sprint technique, and it's rarely something that you see worked on within GAA, particularly at club level. So if any of you guys are club level footballers or hurlers, I hope this stuff really helps, and it's probably stuff you haven't seen before. So we want to talk first of all about what we're trying to achieve with acceleration. We're really looking to obviously go in that forward direction or linear direction, and we're looking to generate horizontal forces, okay? A lot of times, one of the biggest errors with acceleration is we get too much vertical force. So rather than thinking about, as an example, driving our knees up into the air when we're taking off on those first 3 steps, we really want to think about driving everything in this direction. It changes then when we start getting up to more towards top speed. The forces and what we're thinking about and what we're trying to achieve changes when we're moving at max speed. But when we're talking about acceleration, we're talking about trying to generate as much force as possible this way and propel our body in this direction. So the 3 things we're going to focus on are our body position. So what orientation are we in? Are we really leaning forward like this? Are we in this position, or are we quite upright? Second thing then is going to be leg action or leg drive and what we're doing with our legs. And third thing is going to be arm action or arm drive and what we're doing with our arms. And that kind of comes in order of importance. So the posture is the most important, the leg drive is the second most important, and then what we do with our arms is third most important. And largely what you do with your arms, as long as it's not, you know, completely all over the place like this, you know, largely there's not a massive contribution there. If it's decent, if you kind of have a fair idea of what you're doing with that, that's fine. But we can certainly work a lot on this posture and this leg drive to get more out of our acceleration. So initially what we want to think about is we want to think about forward body lean. Now the forward body lean must also be accompanied with a neutral spine, okay? So we don't ever want to be in this position when we're sprinting, and at the same time we don't want to be up here in this position either. So we want to have that neutral spine. So when we are sprinting, our first 3 steps in the acceleration phase are going to be so critical, okay? So those first 3 steps are so important, right? So when you're actually driving through those first 3 steps, we're aiming to have more or less a straight line between the heel and the head. That's what we want to be thinking about. Now, it's not necessarily exactly a straight line, but that's what you got to think about. So straight line between your heel and your head, and you want to imagine like you're running up a hill. So when you're running up a hill, you really angle your body forward in order to project yourself up that hill. Okay, you're not upright like this. You're really angling yourself forward, so you're leaning forward. One drill we can do to get in the habit of getting into that position is a falling start, and obviously accelerate on through that with a little bit more pace. So this falling start acceleration drill teaches us that, okay, this is the body posture I need to be in when I'm sprinting, and obviously when the body falls, just about when you're about to hit the floor, you bring that leg out in front and you drive. So first thing, posture. We want to be in this forward lean like we're running up a hill. We also want to think about a straight line between the head and the heel. We want to keep that really strong. Next thing, let's talk about the leg action. All right, so what do we do with our legs? We want to try and stay low to the ground, okay? So we don't want to be going up into the air. So the last thing we want to think about with this knee is driving that knee up into the air. That's going to help us increase vertical forces, but it's the horizontal forces that we want to focus on in this acceleration phase. So with the knee, we want to think about driving the knee forward and keeping it low. Imagine like there's something in front of you and you're trying to like punch a mitt. So like you're doing boxing, when you're punching a mitt in boxing, you're doing the same thing with your knee. So when you're driving that forward, you're trying to punch that mitt, and that's going to help you with that kind of idea of driving the knee forward and keeping it low and making it explosive, okay? It's not a kind of a slow punch, so when you're trying to knock someone out, you don't do it slowly, you try and hit them as hard as you can. So that's the lead leg. Again, we're trying to punch that mitt and be nice and explosive with that knee and keep him low. With the back leg then, what we're trying to do is we're trying to drive back and down into the ground. So we're trying to drive really hard and explosive into the ground, and we're looking for that to be a really kind of good, long, hard contact. Next thing then, we're going to talk about the arm action. With the arm action, you know, you see a lot of this chin to pocket or lip to hip. And what we want to think about is whipping the arms back, okay? So we want to snap. It's got to be a snap, a snap, a snap, a snap, a snap. All right, well, don't worry too much about the arms. If you focus more on the legs, that's where the gains really can be made. As long as your arm action isn't, as I said, all over the place, you'll be fine. But if you are thinking about it and you're thinking about really whipping them back, so whipping them back, or snapping them back, and that'll help you create the momentum that you need to go forward. Okay, so let's try and put this all together now and kind of summarize what we've been talking about. We've really been talking about generating force, okay? We're trying to overcome a starting position. Okay, so we're trying to get our body moving, and we're trying to get our body moving this way. So we really focus on a piston type action. So it's not a kind of an up and an out and a drag back, which you see a lot. Okay, so it's not this kind of dragging action like this. It's a drive up and back, and keep that knee low, up and back. And it's really trying to put all that power that we've developed in the gym and all the strength we've developed in the gym, activate that nervous system as much as we can, and piston action, driving back and hard into the ground. So we're focusing on, again, that power rather than trying to really rapidly hit the ground and do as many steps as possible. It's about driving powerfully into the ground. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is putting that together in terms of a session and what a session should look like. And if you've seen the plyometrics video, you'll know that to get the most out of our plyometrics, we want to be doing them at maximum intensity. Now, there's advantage of doing them at maximum intensity, and that brings on some of the neural adaptations, but you need a lot of rest afterwards. You can do a small amount kind of more often to kind of get the coordination right and focus on activation, but it doesn't we'll say, give you the same adaptations and doesn't give you the same improvements. And it's the same situation here. So you can do kind of a light amount of acceleration work to focus on the technique, but that really won't transfer over unless you're doing it maximally, because you need to be able to get the nervous system to adapt. So similarly here, we're talking 1 to 2 sessions per week, and we're talking about max effort on those sessions if you want to get the most out of it. Now, what I'll do is I'll put together an example speed or acceleration session, similarly to the plyometric session. So we'll have our plyometric session, we'll have our speed session, and I'll take you through the movements in that video or in that program as well. Now, those sessions can be like anywhere from a half an hour to an hour long, and they can use a lot of things like sleds. You know, you can use a chest harness, you can use a waist harness, you can do wall drills and all that kind of stuff. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually including that in my vlog. So any of the speed work that I'm doing, I'm including it in the vlogs, and I will have the word speed in the title of the vlog. So if you want to see some examples of these speed sessions, go check out the vlogs, and I'll talk through them during the vlogs to give you an understanding of each of the movements. Okay guys, that's the video. I hope this one's been helpful. Really excited about delivering this one and see what people think. Again, give these guys a go. There's a lot there, so what I would do is I would break it down and I would kind of take maybe one cue at a time. So thinking about your posture first, and maybe trying some of those falling start drills, and then after that thinking about what you're doing with your knees in terms of that cueing for, you know, driving the knee forward and then driving the other foot powerfully into the ground. Breaking those down one by one. Don't try and do everything at once. You know, if you're thinking about the arms and the knees and the posture all at once, you're not going to make any progress. So pick one, focus on that. When you feel you've got a hang of that, move on to the next one. Again, check out the vlog so that you can see me going through some of the exercises that you can use in a speed program, because again, we can use sleds, we can use harnesses to improve this speed training. Check out those vlogs. I'll talk through those in there and then try and apply that to your own training, and I hope it helps you get a little bit quicker. Thanks again for watching. The next video is going to be on absolute speed, or kind of top speed, what we're thinking about with top speed, which is slightly different. If you like the video, make sure you like the video, hit subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I will see you in the next one. Slán.
Yes.